In 1940, as Europe collapsed deeper into the chaos of war, the German military unveiled a weapon far more dangerous than any tank or aircraft. Their communications vanished behind an impenetrable curtain of secrecy. Every movement, every naval order, every battlefield instruction was suddenly encoded through a cipher so complex that no Allied intelligence service could make sense of it. The device responsible was the Enigma machine, an electromechanical rotor system whose constantly shifting pathways and plugboard connections created a labyrinth of possibilities. Each morning at dawn, German operators set new daily configurations, resulting in astronomical combinations that rendered intercepted messages unreadable. Even seasoned codebreakers armed with years of experience were now staring at endless streams of characters with no entry point, no pattern, and no hope of manual deciphering. The Allies were effectively blind. Across the English countryside, at a secluded estate known as Bletchley Park, Britain assembled a quiet army of mathematicians, linguists, engineers, and scholars to confront this invisible threat. Among them was a young and eccentric mathematician named Alan Turing. He arrived with no interest in military glory, but with a deep fascination for logic and the nature of computation. To many, Enigma was a cipher. To Turing, it was something else entirely, a system governed by rules, constraints, weaknesses, and predictable structures hidden beneath layers of complexity. He saw the problem not as a code to crack manually, but as a challenge requiring a new approach, a machine fast enough and logical enough to race through the possibilities that humans could never hope to test. Turing began studying the structure of Enigma with singular focus. The machine's internal design was impressive, a series of rotating electrical rotors that stepped with each keystroke, rearranging the alphabet dozens of times per word. Added to this was the steckerbrett, or plugboard, allowing pairs of letters to be swapped, further complicating the cipher. But Enigma possessed one crucial flaw. Its internal reflector ensured that no letter could ever encrypt to itself. This tiny structural weakness became the first thread Turing could pull. Combined with cribs, bits of likely plaintext that might appear in messages, it transformed the impossible into something mathematically approachable. Turing understood that logic could crack Enigma, but only if executed at speeds human beings could never match. Working with a small team of cryptanalysts, Turing designed an extraordinary device, the Bombe. More than a machine, it represented a conceptual leap. Instead of solving Enigma directly, the Bombe used chains of electrical circuits to eliminate impossibilities. It tested combinations rapidly, narrowing down which rotor settings and plugboard wirings could not be correct until only the true daily key remained. In March 1940, the first Bombe, named Victory, was installed and activated. Its rows of rotating drums spun day and night, the sound echoing through the code-breaking huts like the heartbeat of a new technological era. It was the first machine designed specifically to think faster than its human counterparts. The results came quickly. As the Bombe processed cribs and tested logical deductions, impossible settings fell away in seconds. What once took weeks of manual analysis now took minutes. For the first time, cryptanalysts at Bletchley Park began seeing German messages appear in plain text. Naval movements, troop deployments, fuel shipments, submarine coordinates, information that had been sealed behind the unbreakable cipher was now readable before the Germans themselves could act on it. The transformation was extraordinary. Messages that had once been hopeless strings of nonsense could now be deciphered in less than an hour. As more bombs were built, eventually exceeding 200 across Britain, Bletchley Park became a factory of intelligence. Machines clattered without pause, feeding a continuous stream of decrypted communications into Allied command. Every day, Enigma keys changed, and every day, Turing's methods found ways to catch up. The intelligence derived from these breakthroughs reshaped military strategy. Convoys avoided U-boat traps. Commanders anticipated enemy reinforcements. Entire operations were planned using knowledge extracted from Enigma traffic. The British military, once blind, now saw into the heart of German strategy with clarity the enemy never suspected. Alan Turing did not lead armies or step onto battlefields, yet his impact echoed across every front. His work formed the foundation of modern computing, proving that machines could perform logical reasoning at speeds no human mind could match. The bombe was not a computer in the modern sense, but the conceptual roots were unmistakable. Turing had mechanized thought, transforming abstract mathematics into a tool capable of altering the fate of nations. His colleagues recognized his brilliance, but he asked for no praise. For him, the work was not about recognition. It was about the problem and the logic required to solve it. By the later years of the war, the importance of the work at Bletchley Park was immeasurable. Analysts were decoding thousands of German messages each month, often reading enemy orders almost as quickly as German officers transmitted them. Though secrecy prevented public acknowledgement, many historians would later estimate that the efforts at Bletchley Park, including Turing's contributions, shortened the war in Europe by several years. It was a victory not through force, but through intellect, won in quiet rooms filled with pages of ciphertext and machines humming through the night. As the war finally approached its end, the bombs gradually slowed, their once relentless clatter softening into an uneven rhythm before falling quiet altogether. One by one, the machines that had worked around the clock, turning chaos into clarity, were powered down. The steady hum that had once filled the code-breaking huts, a sound that had become the pulse of Bletchley Park, faded into memory. Outside the lawns of the estate, once lined with couriers rushing between buildings carrying urgent decrypts, began to grow still. The rooms that had held tension sharp enough to feel in the air now stood half empty, with stacks of intercepted messages waiting for final sorting before being boxed away. Yet even as the physical operation wound down, the legacy of what had happened inside those huts began to take shape. Turing's breakthroughs had not only pierced the secrecy of an enemy, but had reshaped the very meaning of problem-solving itself. The logic he developed and the machines he inspired became seeds for entirely new disciplines. His ideas did not remain confined to wartime intelligence. They ignited the rise of computer science, programming, and artificial intelligence. The bombe, though built for war, embodied principles that would become the backbone of the digital age: mechanized logical deduction, automated reasoning, and the belief that a machine could extend the capabilities of the human mind. Alan Turing's wartime work remained classified for decades, hidden under layers of secrecy that kept his achievements unknown to the very world he helped save. Yet even in silence, the influence of his ideas spread. In 1940, when Germany believed its cipher to be invincible, Turing looked at the Enigma not with fear or resignation, but with curiosity, with the conviction that every system, no matter how complex, held a key waiting to be found. His genius lay not only in mathematical brilliance, but in the courage to imagine solutions no one else had dared to consider. Through extraordinary insight and unwavering determination, he shattered the illusion of an unbreakable cipher and altered the course of the war. His battlefield was not land, sea, or sky. It was a dense tangle of wires, circuits, and spinning rotors. His weapons were logic, patterns, and relentless creativity. And his victory was counted not in captured cities, but in the countless lives preserved because the Allies could now read the enemy's intentions before they unfolded. Long after the guns fell silent and Europe began to rebuild, Turing's ideas continued their quiet advance. They lived on in every early computer, every algorithm, every emerging field shaped by the belief that information could be processed, decoded, and understood by machines. His legacy endured not in monuments or medals, but in the invisible architecture of the modern world, a world powered by the principles he discovered in the darkest days of war.